Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the
Lume Plotters interview series.
Oh, yeah.
Oof, it's a mouthful. It's a very special one, close to our hearts. I
Very
think
close.
everyone, it's just one of those brands that you can't help but, smile. I was talking to my brother yesterday who owns one of, should we say what it is? I guess you guys already know. It says it in the title. So yeah, it's Oris. There's
The
no
big reveal.
hiding it anymore.
In this Oris interview series, we are talking about Oris. Yeah.
Shocker. So a couple months ago, a year ago, I don't even know when it was, my brother was looking at, he said he wanted a blue dial watch. So I recommended immediately the Oris, which I thought at the time was pronounced Servo Volante, but our host corrected us, and it's actually Cervo Volante, he said. So we'll see if that's correct. I'm assuming it's correct because he owns the company, or he's the CEO of the company, I should say. Yep. But nonetheless, he bought the blue dial, the light blue dial Cervo Volante, Oris, the big crown pointer date. And basically, he said, it doesn't matter what other watches he owns. Every time he puts on the Oris, something about it just makes you smile.
Oh.
And
yeah,
that is exactly what I feel as well about Oris. It doesn't matter. I could be wearing, any other watch, but when I put on an Oris, somehow it's a reminder not to take yourself too seriously. And this is kind of the theme of today's topic as well.
But I must somehow object there. It's like you're smiling with a warm and fuzzy feeling. It's not that you're laughing at yourself, right? It's not that you think like, this is a joke. No. It's a
it's a
nice warm feeling. It's like, I'm happy. This is a nice and friendly watch, and it's I enjoy wearing it.
It's essentially a teddy bear, right? And this is why the Oris bear is so perfect. Do you remember the story when somebody stole the Oris bear, by the way?
No, I didn't. I remember the guys from Scottish Watches doing naughty things with a bear, but that's a different story.
So I don't know who stole it, but essentially, I think it was 2018 Baselworld. Someone stole the Oris bear, and then there was a big hunt for it, and eventually they ended up finding it. I don't know. I think somebody returned it to the Oris headquarters. But yes, apparently there was a story where somebody stole the Oris bear.
Was there some extortion going on? Has hostage negotiations have taken place?
I wouldn't be surprised. But it was.
What was the ransom?
Funny.
How much was the ransom? I want to know.
How many million? But if you check on Revolution, there is an article exactly about this. It says, "Kidnapped at Baselworld, the Oris bear recounts his misfortunate misadventure."
Oh my!
Is the name of the article. Yeah. So check it out. It's pretty funny, and it's illustrated as well, so you could see it how it all went down. But anyway, point of story.
Yeah.
The whole point of this interview, I guess, let's start with this. You got to watch an Oris watch, I should say, before the interview. So you were proudly wearing it during the interview. So you want to tell people more about that?
So I got the Arab Watch Guide or Arab Watch Club, same, Oris limited edition. It's one of 50. It's a 65 diver, I think, right?
No, it's not.
Sorry.
Should we stop it and re-record this, or do you want to fess up to your mistakes?
My ignorance of Oris. So anyhow,
it's a big crown pointer date.
Big crown pointer date. Yes. Sorry. And the cool thing about it is not only that it's this very, very nice warm bronze with a lot of copper, I think, in the alloy, because it's really a very, very nice warm sheen. Has a purple dial, which sounds weird, but once you see it, it's really cool.
No, I want to point this out because we will put a picture up on the Instagram. But this purple is when you say British royalty.
Yeah,
the purple that comes to mind. That's the color, and then combined with the gold.
Yeah,
It is literally a royal watch.
It looks
it's super
really cool. And then, so that's cool. It has this Cervo Volante strap on it, which is also very nice, aged looking. And it's not even aged yet, right? So it will look even cooler after some time. Has all Arabic on the dial. So it's all Eastern Arabic lettering and numbering. So the date, even the logo. And that's the first time ever Oris has done an Arabic logo on their watches. So the logo is Arabic. The font is done by somebody who also makes the fonts for
and
Rolex
the font
and other
is
people.
so
it's
spot
really cool.
on. It's so
nice.
spot on. Like you look at it and you just say that that's the Oris logo. That's the Oris font.
And what's else is special is the date pointer has the color of the Arab watch guide, so exactly that traditional color. And then the hour indices are on the 2, 4, 8, and 10 instead of the normal 3, 6,
Yep.
12,
9,
and
12.
9, 12, 12, 9, 3 divided by
4, 5, 6,
4.
7, 8,
and then,
9.
And when you put an UV light on it, which is amazing, I'll do this now to demonstrate that to you. I don't know if you can see this, but the numbers actually shine under UV light in blue.
They're loomed.
They're loomed.
Yeah.
But once you remove the UV light, it's all green. So it's interesting. It looks just very, very cool. Anyhow, so that's the watch itself. And of course, it has the engraved case back with a special number and all of the stuff. So it's really, really nice with the Arab Watch Guide logo on it. And very cool. 150
Is this your
pieces
first Oris?
It is my first Oris. Actually, no, I had an Oris before, but that was from the 60s, I think.
Okay.
Just a very vintage, small one that I don't have anymore.
They do some really good vintage stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had an Oris before. Two, technically. My wife had one and I had one. My wife had the candy pink cotton candy in bronze, which she ended up selling because she said it was too big for her, which I agreed. It's a big watch. It's 38 millimeters. She has, once again, 18 millimeter watches. So obviously it's a hefty chunker. But I had the 40 millimeter Diver 65, the Hodinkee quote unquote ghost edition, which was all gray essentially, gray bezel, gray dial, and then stainless steel. And 40 millimeters on this vintage style diver was a little too big for me. I wasn't too fond of it. Plus the Fotina they used on the indices was it was too yellow, too orangey yellow, whatever you want to call it. It was too big of a contrast. I didn't like it. So I ended up getting rid of it. And that was a limited one of 250. And I got rid of it. I got rid of it super cheap. And I regretted it. I regretted it to the point where I was looking to replace it. But then I thought to myself, I had all these issues with it prior. So me replacing it with the same watch would most likely just end up with the same issues. And I had a few ideas in my mind how it would become a better watch. Firstly, Hodinkee made it a manual wind.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It has a screw down crown. So every time you have to unscrew, wind it, and then screw it down again, which makes no logical sense. This is why Rolex stopped their diver models with screw down crowns having manual movements. They all went to automatic because of it. Secondly, the 40 millimeters was too big. It wore even kind of larger than a 40. So for a vintage style watch, it didn't really make sense. So I said, okay, it should be smaller. It should be automatic. And that was kind of my idea. So Oris in 2021 released their second collaboration with Hodinkee, or Hodinkee released their second collaboration with Oris, whichever way you want to look at it. This was with a forest green dial, a black count down bezel. So it's essentially counting down. It's not a count up bezel as traditional on dive watches. And the big kicker was it was the first time they had put a caliber 400 movement, which is their in-house 5-day power reserve 2-barrel power or 2-barrel movement, into a 38 millimeter diver watch. They had done one before, which was a big watch, which was the Carl Brashear limited edition.
Yeah, which is a lovely one.
Yeah, it's also a very
but
good
it's
one.
a chrono.
No, that one is a just a date. It has
Did
a
they
date
have
window.
two Calber versions? Because I
I
remember
think
a bronze
afterwards
chrono.
yes, there's a bronze chrono, and I think
So if you don't know
Brashear-
Brashear,
they made a movie about him.
Huh? Yeah, exactly. There's a movie
There's
about
a movie.
him, and it's a fantastic story. Just to understand his perseverance, it's a very, very interesting and motivating story.
What was it? Men of Honor, I believe it. Is that the movie?
I'm not so sure. It was with
No.
no.
Was it Men of Honor? What was the movie called? Sorry, guys.
Since he's a diver.
Yes, it is. It is. I'm right. I love being right. Men of Honor. This is obviously a fairly big movie, right? What's his name? Plays Carl Brashear. Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes,
he won an also Oscar. Has Robert De Niro.
Didn't he won an Oscar for this?
That I can't tell you. I have no idea. And then also Charlize Theron is also in it. God, I'm really good at pronouncing things. He won a couple of things. Let's see. Did he win anything? I don't think he won an Oscar for it. No.
But yeah, okay.
No, he won some.
He did win an Oscar, but I don't know for what.
Okay. That is outside of the scope of this podcast.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie. I remember I watched it when it came out a long time ago, back in 2000 or whenever. Very cool movie. But yes, they do have two watches. They have one in the chrono and one in the Caliber 400. The Caliber 400 came first. The chrono came later. Mm-hmm. Same colorways. But anyway, so yeah, this is a very cool piece, the one that I got, because it's such a small case. It's 38 millimeters. And they shoehorned this Caliber 400 into it with a display case back. So when you look at the case back, it is literally edge to edge. It looks like almost like a longa, how it would go all the way to the edge of the case. So super cool.
And that's
and I learned this.
We people just love a lot, right? When there's the movement is fitting the case, or it's actually made. A movement is made to fit
for
the
case.
Yeah, that sounds.
But this is
great.
Almost, I would say, it's too big for the case. I don't know how on earth this fit, because when you look at the display back, it is not displaying the whole movement because it physically cannot. The movement extends beyond the glass because they had to have the claws to grip to unscrew the case back, right? So the glass goes all the way up to those claw marks. Yeah. So it's kind of neat. And the coolest thing about this movement is, Ralph, what is it?
5 days power reserve.
No, the other coolest thing.
Oh, the other cool thing, it resembles a very, very nice face.
Yes,
if you look at
that
it.
of the Oris bear.
Exactly.
The twin barrels are the ears. The two sapphires in the middle of those, or the two jewels, I should say, are the eyes. The nose is the center point for the rotating mass.
Yeah.
And then the smile is the actual rotating not balance wheel. What is it called? The rotor.
And it's really looking. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's super sweet.
Oh, it's super cool. I love it.
It's very nice. And in this interview that you're going to listen to now, we promise it will come. After all our talk, Rolf Studer, the CEO of Oris, will actually talk about this as well, because I think we asked him this question of, is that deliberate? Was this part of the design brief, or did it just appear? And you will know what his answer is.
The answer, yes, because it was rumored this was happenstance. It happened to look like it, but
we will see.
You'll hear for yourself.
Exactly.
But anyway, the point of this is I bought this watch after the interview because we just not only did the interview, we also went to they had an Oris party that night.
Right, correct.
And it was so much fun. I mean, once again, it was, I would say, the funnest event at Watch Week was that Oris party.
Yeah,
So
it was really nice.
It just really fills you with some warm and fuzzy feeling for the brand. And I went out and bought the Oris because of that.
Yeah, we were supposed to get
Secondhand, of
our
course.
AirWatch guy to watch on that event, but then for security, insurance, and whatever reasons, they had to hand them out before the event in the store. That was just different. Wasn't the idea initially, but it was still cool. We had then our little event as well on that party for that watch. So that was
no, it's a very good looking watch, Ralph. If you sell it, I might be interested.
Oh, okay. Not that
All
I have
right.
plans.
Without further ado,
yes, please listen to the episode. Have lots of fun, and
we'll catch you after.
Catch you after. Bye. All right, here we are again, live from the Dubai Watch Week. Together today with Oris. It is the Lume Plotters, Rajiv, Martin, and me, Ralph, and of course our guest of honor today, Rolf Studer from Oris.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, lovely to have you here. I hope that we all wear Orises today. Let's do a small check.
No.
No. But Rolf obviously does the job. Well, yes. Rajiv wears his platinum Cartier. I am wearing my new Oris, which is from the Arab Watch Club. Yeah, and I love it. It's really cool.
So we're already 50%, so it's always good to have some potential, right?
Yes,
absolutely.
There's market share is there, but there's opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the position we like to be in.
All right,
so,
Martin, please take over.
Before we get started, I want to kind of introduce my first interaction with Oris. I went to Basel 2019, the last one, as a nobody. I was just a fan, a watch fan, show up, try to talk to some brands, no interest, zero. No one would even show me a watch, rather let me hold it, except for Oris. They welcomed me in. They gave me watches to look at, to play with, food, drinks. And this is how I began to understand the brand ethos of Oris. It's nothing like any of the other brands. And ever since, I've been an absolute Oris fanboy. So we want to thank you for kind of bringing this joy into watches that I guess you can only have if you're a true independent and if you are passionate about what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So, first things first, would you like to tell the listeners what is on your wrist and tell us a little bit about your new release?
Yes, what I'm wearing is the new Pro Palette X Laser that we launched here at Dubai Watch Week. Pro Palette X, our collection that is within aviation, but not a pilot's watch per se, a watch for a pilot, more a watch inspired by aviation. Mm-hmm. And that's why we can do so many interesting things with it. And now this year we have done, we have had 2 releases. First one was Kermit's that we brought at Watches and Wonders, which was a bigger hit than we expected.
Yeah.
So we're very happy about that. And now here at Dubai Watch Week, we bring that special dial laser, as we call it, because what we have here is a titanium watch with a titanium bracelet, and now also with a titanium dial. And as colorful as the watch is, there is not a single drop of color on that watch. It's all created by that laser treatment that gives us this iridescent look, and which basically means that you take out the red waves of light, and what is reflected back to you is light without those red waves, and that's the specter of color that you see here. So this dial is created by light.
Nice. Wow. This is really impressive.
Wow.
If you know how it actually creates the effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just filters out the...
Exactly. I was thinking it was like blued titanium, like, exhaust tips on cars that you can get. But no, this is...
So how did you come up with this idea?
Yeah.
Actually, it started at a different point. We were looking for a technique with sapphire crystal, and it's really very ground level R&D that we do together with ETH University in Zurich, which is the Swiss sort of MIT, right? Where we work with postgrad PhD people who are very much on the forefront of what they do. And and it's a trial and error process, right? And you try to find solutions to things that want to have a solution for, and then one leads to the other and to unexpected things, and here we go.
I think this is really fantastic to see more and more watch brands actually trying to get modern technology and engineering in their watches from very different fields sometimes. Material science for cases, maybe, sometimes for dials, or movement parts. You know, I think that's really great to see this.
With the Caliber 400, you know, the what you did with the 10 years service intervals, 10 years warranty. You were, to my knowledge, the first one with the 10 years warranty, which now I think a few other brands have also picked up on. But it's unbelievable for what we see, what you're able to do with these types of movements. So you're truly kind of cutting edge in these technologies.
Yeah, and at the end, people ask us, how do you come up with these things? It's easy. We like watches. Mm-hmm. We are an independent company. And we can do what we would like to see in a product, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to movements, to an in-house movement, of course you can do another 40 hours, I don't know, in-house automatic movements. But when we were approaching the topic, we asked ourselves, what would we want from an automatic movement? And you want a long power reserve, so you can wear more than one watch during the week, right? And then these services, they're always a bit of a thing. So you want to have long service intervals, you want to have long warranty, and then you need anti-magnetic these days. There's your movements.
Right.
It's really that. And we are fortunate enough to have a technical department that doesn't seem to know no as an answer, right? They just say, yes, we can do that, but it may be a little expensive. Mm-hmm. But they're always trying to find ways to make it happen. And then you're just steering your way through that and come up with the things that we then bring out.
Yeah, and I think besides all of this technical prowess that you then have, and also the vision of just going for it and saying like, this is what we would like, so we just build it. The next thing is you also take the risk of saying 10 years warranty. I mean, that is a financial investment and also a gamble. You hope that your movement is as good as you think it is. But if it wasn't be, then you had a lot of warranty claims that are costing you money. So it's also a good risk that you take, and a lot of confidence in your products and in your work.
Well, it's not quite that much a gamble. We tested the movement, we simulated the movement up to 90 years. So we know it's
robust.
Exactly. It's going to run for that amount of time. And it really is not a marketing thing. You know, the movement is built to the specs of not having a service for 10 years. There are larger than normal rubies that can contain more oil. There is lower torque. There is special oiling. We don't just write 10 years and then hope that nothing happens. As you know, we saw warranties going up in the last 3 years, and sometimes I had the feeling it's just, obviously the movement can do that, so let's put it up.
Yeah.
Caliber 400 was really built for that.
Okay.
and we simulated it. You have that movements turn very fast, and then you simulate that long periods of time, and you see the aberration. Which parts need to be extra precise in order it's not to create dust in the watch that then may block it. So it's a bit more than just than just hoping.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. You have to be very confident in your technical aspect that you're saying. Okay,
and you actually have to do it. To have that confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
really well done.
And the thing is, I think above all this, all the superlatives like 10 years, 5 days, power reserve, everything, the price point. You have captured that particular segment where nobody would dare try to give all these, the various facilities that you are providing for your clients with that price point. How did you manage to do all that math and to ensure that the price point always remained and the quality, with the quality being top notch, in the top tier kind of watches that we have with that price point? How did you how have you managed to keep it at that price?
Yeah, while being independent, right? Which also it makes things sometimes more complicated because you don't have the backup of a big group. We really do everything ourselves. But this also gives us the spirit and the ambition, to truly live our values, and makes us work harder and go the extra mile and offer a product that is the product that we want to see for the people we want to make watches for, which is the watch enthusiast who has brought us to where we are now. And yes, the whole industry rises and demands on the quality and on the functions they rise. So also prices rise, but still we want to make a watch for the person who likes a mechanical watch, but has a job that needs to finance that hobby also, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we approach a project, this is in the specs, right? That we want to make a watch for these people.
Yeah.
And then we find ways to make that happen.
Yeah. You wanted to mention the Kermit?
Did I?
Yeah, I mean, how successful, you mentioned the Kermit being very successful. Did you have any apprehensions? Because there was some criticism with the Kermit, but then with the successful launch, did you have any apprehensions in the beginning with some of the influencers making odd jokes about the Kermit? Did you kind of?
Well, maybe I missed these odd jokes. Maybe you can tell me one.
No, it's just that coming up with the Kermit,
It was divisive. Let's say, right? It was not a watch that you knew everyone was going to love, and I was when it was released, I loved it.
Yeah, so did I.
Because I have to say I'm a fanboy. I loved everything that you do. Even when the turquoise Diver 65, the turquoise Lume Plotters came out, I was like, this is awesome. And the Kermit came out, I had the same reaction. And then people were saying, well, why would you want a Kermit green dial? Like, who cares? That's the point. It doesn't matter why you want it.
The question is more, why not?
Exactly.
Right? Why not have this?
Exactly. And yes, obviously to make a watch for a Muppet character with a lime green dial isn't for everyone, but things don't have to be for everyone. Of course, when we figured that out, we had no idea how reaction would be. It could be a hit, it could be a complete flop, right?
Yeah, well, the numbers say so.
And we are very glad that it indeed was a hit, but it makes planning very difficult because it can mean that that you plan for way too much production and then sit on a product that nobody wants, or you will not have enough of these watches, and that we are glad that the latter was the case.
Correct.
And I think the reason why Kermit was so well received is that people felt that it was really an Oris message, right? It's not just a merchandise product.
Yeah.
It's a shared philosophy. Our purpose as a watch brand is to make people smile.
Yeah.
That's what stands on the top of everything that we do. And Kermit does the same, right? Kermit, you wish Kermit was your friend, right? Because
childhood.
he's a regular guy who goes through the up and downs of life, and but has a good heart, right?
Yeah.
And he cheers people up, and that's the same with us. We want to put that smile on people's face. We stand for that kind of luxury that we want. To share the passion, share the joy about watches. A lot of the things that happen in this industry are here to make other people envious, to create envy. It's a very shallow feeling, right? It's nice for a few seconds and then it's gone. But you know it, we know it. The enthusiasts, they know it. To share the passion, to share the joy about an object. That's what makes it.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's the message of the Kermit watch. And I feel people may not think about it that way, but they feel it, and that's what makes it.
And what? Two things. One, up until the Kermit, I don't think anyone has ever actually used a date window to put pictures, right? Except for one other company.
Yes.
Rolex did the emoji, and they released at the exact same time. Coincidence? Did you know about this before? Was this, were you surprised?
Well, if I would tell you now that we inspired them to do it.
I would like to, this is the answer I would like to hear. And did you think about putting, instead of just one Kermit, 31 different poses or 31 different Kermit facial expressions or anything like this? Or was it always this Kermit day, one day?
No, of course, the watch, how you see it now, is the result of a long process. And what we didn't want to do was making too obvious a watch, and a watch that could be perceived as a merchandise product, even though on a high level. We really wanted to express this shared philosophy, right? And that's why Kermit only shows up once a month to remind you that it's time for some
Me time.
self-care, me time, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a very good message, and it's a message that's also very fitting to our brands, where we constantly are somewhat out of balance, trying to find that's way in the middle, right? To me, balance is the new extreme, and to remind people of that, I think is in that positive sector of emotions that we want to give, and therefore very fitting with everything that we try to do.
Right.
Okay.
And do you have any
Wonderful.
future projects similar to the Kermit in the coming months, coming years?
Everybody's asking that, yes.
Yeah. I want Miss Piggy. I want Dr. Honeydew. I want Gonzo. I want the Animal, the drummer, and Statler and Waldorf, the two old guys.
Yes.
I would do that one.
I would
That's
like
us
these.
two right here.
Yeah, that would be
Fantastic.
lovely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, I think Oris is such a friendly brand. I mean, you have even your own movement is looks happy if you look at it from the back, which is still mind blowing to me that you somehow made it actually look like your Oris bear. did this come during the development phase that you think, actually, we could do this? Or did you just already plan this from the beginning? Or was this just during the process thinking like, hey, actually, we could make it nice, like a smiling movement?
Well, to be completely honest, at some point we saw it, that the two barrels and the rotor, that they create that smiling face and that they give that idea of the Oris bear being in the movement. So sometimes you're lucky.
Yeah.
And there we were lucky. And what is the privilege of working in this industry is that you make a product that you actually don't really need. So as a brand, you need to have a very good answer as to why your customer spends at least a 4-digit amount in dollars or Swiss francs on it, right? And to think hard and long about that and to fill your product with that emotion that it is then intended to create. And we want to give that message of joy, that message of sharing. It's good times and positive energy, and I am very happy that even our own automatic movement does that. So sometimes
no,
we're
I
lucky.
think you absolutely achieve this. I think it's hard not to look at your wrist and smile when you have an Oris on and feel good about it. I think at least we can.
I feel sad. I sold my Oris, and now every day I've regretted
You
it.
sold it for mere money.
I had the Hodinky limited edition, the Ghost, the first Diver 65. And I wanted to buy something else. I sold it. And my wife said, "You're going to regret this." No.
Always listen to the wife.
Yeah. And ever since, I've been trying to buy it back. So
you will get there again.
I will.
I'm sure there is something in the calendar or in the Oris Pass that is for you.
Absolutely. There's too much for me. I also had the candy pink cotton candy, which was also a beautiful watch. So
good.
Thank you.
Wonderful. We were out of time, unfortunately. We got already the knock on the door. Thank you so much, Rolf, for being with us and giving us your time.
Yeah, it was nice to hang out. It's
great to have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
And
so
that's it.
That is all. See you guys next week. No, I'm just kidding. No, I have to say one of the biggest takeaways from this was two things. One was, of course, their new release, the Oris Pro Pilot X Laser, which I happen to be guilty of looking at on online yesterday, seeing how much they were. I think they're exactly 20,000 dirhams, which is not cheap for an Oris, but it is a stunning watch. And of course, it's the first time they made a no date. It's a no date, which I like. 39 millimeter titanium case. It's cool. I do like it. I like it a lot.
But what you get, it's a reasonable price, I think.
Well, it's the same movement as mine, right? Full titanium. But I guess and then the laser dial, which has never been done before, which I still, cannot fathom exactly what it is, but apparently it's a dial made with lasers. Lasers. Pew, pew, which reminds me of the Austin Powers. Remember the Dr. Evil? He's like, I want sharks with laser beams attached to their heads. I can't, every time I hear the word laser, that's what I think of.
I always think of James Bond being tied on a table and this laser is going between his legs.
The laser coming up.
And of course, every of the villains leaves the room so that he has a chance of freeing himself, as always.
Yes. Anyway, so long story short, you just kind of get an impression about Rolf that this is a brand that does not take themselves too seriously. And he kind of personifies the brand very well, I think. You look up some pictures on his Instagram, by the way, and the guy's wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, and he's a fun guy for sure.
Yes, so, absolutely, lovely guy.
He's definitely a good guy for the job.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to interview him. So thank you, Rolf, for your time. if you are listening to this.
Yes.
And I hope all
And
of
you
our
made me buy a
listeners-
watch, Ralph.
Yes, exactly. And
Yes. Oh, but I told him, I think this was in the interview though, when I said I sold my old one. And he says, well, we all make mistakes.
yes. Anyhow, so yeah, he
yes.
definitely gained 2 fans from that interview. So I hope
I think so.
maybe a few more after our listeners
Yes.
listen to it. Alrighty.
Exactly. All right, guys. Stay tuned
for
for
your
next
time.
week's interview.
Exactly.
Bye-bye.
Bye.